All right, alwane ndị ka mwebon alwane onye lenzere o. Yes, enya biazele enya puazele zitan. Topic enyi tani ora hoto. So onu ile chari ndị elenei onu ke weri ihe ndị bụ kpọ belt onu egi kekeme ukwu. Makeni agwamtono ne ndị ka nwehia. Wekpenyika enyi and wekpenya agbo agbori. So tani the Gisme TV le onweka language class timu together niwe bia da kuzi onu ihe hu o meseni ola afeti ndị hia ime ezine ụlọ ora afeti ezi ndị o meseni wechonu welu ngba amaru wekwe ka eme wechonu welu di olunwi amaru wekwe ka eme ifiri ihe na echo na ekokwe tan so di no huma before enyewe he nonu onye ni agbare eben kenye me ni ngwasomono ndị hụ ire eben with me tan when Friday ikuku from India alo egbuwe
America o chukuno eni
ise
ore ni ma
ise
ere maro sokoyi
ise o okele nwa kwa ye ke mare kwa ele si ukele yin but nindirele na imare kwa no won okele hundi ka ekele so ya ha igi ekele okele so ele na ino lele ne
ndi kai one nenu wa ba no
oh ma hapo wene aigi oh my god ka egbuwe do Diokpa Silvanus Ojuma ezigbo kenye ke wo alo a egbuwe
ani make ndị kenyo alo an itano owo ma ba ni owo ma nani o asin o elenyo laiwe
no okay enwezi nweneyi ebeni favor efanare kama nweneyi favor alo a egbuwe
alo no wo ma ba no wo ma nani o onye na nse yo
no worry then enwozi nweneyi mba make buche enye nwozi nweneyi my right hand person ne Okohoma patient ukperi alo a egbuwe nwebon
alo nwebon chukwu ya gozi ono
ise o
ndị na de wo ma ba ndị na wo ma nene
heze losi ma all the wife ya use so ka de no ibe
ki mezitani mo se da mo kere ni obi di lo da yan
I need to won heart attack so just some enwozi the chief nkpokite one we ge she jaguar the Messiah of Ekukagbo and the God of Ekukagbo one
alo
Isaiah Okoh egbuwe
izani hemono
ise
na ndị lede enyi rele na enyi owo ma abani o ndị nna rele na enyi owo ma nneni o ni ware na ni ma o
ise o
ihe ola ibuche ka na ozo gbori o ihe wore ka
ise
okay so tani obire nwom ezigbo anwere makeni onwo onye okihia hu ndị bụ kpọ doctor but ndị nke ya kpọ we ogbebulu ebo hu ịbịa de sen no de tani n'oge kosi anyị ihe hu anyị nidi ịmarini ime isiokwu ni hu anyị keke so nke ye nweneyi Isaiah Okoh ohere no introduce nei onye hu the doctor wo nweneyi Isaiah Okoh over to you
Munani onu jenke onu make onu gibia one time and zueben okwenyi ku izuka gane enri ku kwe no ban noku ebe ya kuboku ngasene ngagwa onye rusu nwene nyi ne onwo onye mmari onye nkenyi ika gwa enyi emu akụ na-enye ọhụma na mkpọgha n'ebe ahụ ka ọrụ ya zụọ ndị nkenyi ya na wesa onye aka ịhịnya mana ya agba ya efa oge anyị gikugwa nga asị na mkpọgha nwene enyi Dr. Henry Onyemare Dr. Henry Onyemare National General University only medicine. Dr. Henry Onyemare is very, very vast in human medicine because not only a basic degree in physiology, human physiology, was a postgraduate degree in medical physiology. As a matter of fact, not only in or practicing medicine, a postgraduate degree in physiology, both bachelor's, master's, and doctor of medicine degree. So we're saying ndị lumbu ya ga-ekwe kuku we're saying ishiku esweru oru ebe wa amaniru mekeke ehiare ishiku esweru oge a ga-ejuba ajụjụ izuka ga na nga amene ndị nke mara na onye ka ahịa mara ya agba ya efa nga agwa nwere nne mkpọgha Dr. Henry Onyemare n'ụzọ da akọwa na enyo hụma ka anyị kado eneba emu na omeni ndị ogisi ọkọkụ and imerime ihe ndị nke enyi ọkụ wee imerime ihe nwa ajụjụ gbasara na ya ka aza ọhụma yi na enyi n'aka ya onye nọ n'ahụ ebe ni wasishi wesuru ogwale woro ebu aguru ya Dr. Henry Onyemare and is a senior medical officer at Asaba Specialist Hospital in Delta State.
Hello.
Bone kayene ya. Of course, no. Just palo Okay, so before you just some, this our doctor, olo mwe izoka rafini onu le nwa na kwale me Paulina.
Always okay.
But almost because so many melo anwie, o many mewoke no lo nwie izoka rafini. Honeymoon make a go no 1 month. Ebe anu ahụ kom no. Honeymoon. I can tell moon that did not go until 1 month. I can be moon.
Yeah, I need to long more because no one can go to me kodori mama. Oh, Ganga Guantes and next Friday or the Friday after that. But also Nelson Warrior, Nelson Warrior, no young we here, or young one and the Monobubona, the Bubota. Oh, William, a new Monobubona, the yeah, okay, yeah, the United. Is what I can
I love that.
All right. Okay. So, Negi Jasome, Ugbon when Kanyatan, nke we Azaya, Yakalanya di Ugbo, then Odoni Webubo, Kalaza di Ajojo. But in when we are not guessing Ugbo. So, I don't take me Ugbo, I'm going to him. He doesn't have
Asmaka Kiledi, Homa Matane, a poor Malgambo, and send a home monkey no she is at the Gbemini, or a bem monkey and Osaka survival, Mako Afa, or seen a Lucy Toko. Magani many I want you born in Lucy or more, Mosade, you can feel very well. No, an active swimmer. Yes, good leadership. When I know Mama for the presentation. In fact, I'm the literature 13% so it is
Ahoma. Okay, so onye ole nwa ajụjụ ọwụle ihe concern this sickle cell ya jụ ki akosia ki we ke gigbue ki ihe wa kiwa yo nwe ihe we gegbuchani anolachani abi onwo ogun wara hu ke ajose ohwa oboto lani so wele kan bia da mu time. So before I do some ajojo and tone first of all name money go den one ki with this sickle cell ki we here and also when I azaye sene emu ho akondi ogi so one first time ngi no to no one specific emu mo mesene ndi ogi ko na we te mane then we dey say imarika we gwa yagwa so time when I ho na cheni amani cheni oruze ki nge ku emekwe with boldness yes sickle cell ndị oge sokos wele ma ani oge mare we gwa magwa ya otano so before ye jeru ajojo at least na mani go see den one ihe ho emu na wo so connect doctor ha when Dr. Henry onye mare no ko sekwen ihe ho di emore gbonu ni when ye kane na doctor ha mo go
onye mara ihe amara inu.
Okay. Alo. Yeah. No, nkibuzo bidon mkpamoyo na rebe. More importantly, nnam famazaya. Agwa mani here na se na muru as much as possible ne ndon ho ehu ekon. I don't think there's anything no ka se muru me asa maka and I will give him excuse. So, Chanin Kele good for the over no ye mawa. It is for her ben. Aya, in Chanaku. In wine and ten. I Chanaku. Okay, moo. Woman all ye, the Kele Pamazan going, or Mundiogi. Woman all the Obibu, the Berry is a woman. It did not go type on it being one your women in one. So, Nkuzi and a woman or a very timely. And I named Macanam, Mamma, was okay on one was on one. Okay, also serves as health education. So, indeed, and your wounds way. Macanay, Benas, and Isaac Amano, this is what it is. A Casakapu that are one yozo. Na onwa onsa onwa ihe we mbu no onwe ya mehen onwa o mende mbu na ya anwo ha gwa nwa onwa he suppose many. I believe that's the essence of this evening. Kan ibidoni emu sickle cell na ineku ndị gba akpa genetic inherited disorder.
Genetic inherited disorder.
Wapoza emwedeke inherited blood disorder. Emuwari ha imedeke. Emun iwihi enwe ha na kara ha na kanne di na kanne. Ana ihe akosi na enwe, ana nke ogbanje, ana ogbebulu eme. Ohwe ha weghara ha na kanne dia, nwe ha kanne. As we progress, ibe hotel di ihe de enwe ha. Ihe ka munwa, na ka mu ise. Ya hwa mu ise onye hu nwe. Some people again ka munwa mu ise. Ya hwa ni mu ise nwo ihe wanwa. For proper understanding, na ke ihe ere chukwu do ke ihe. Ihe ichiche ka iwe nyiri, we are all different by genetic makeup. By gene here na dey ku ihe ahụ meme ihe. Ko edeka ahụ kpo ihe no dey kumoku. Ihe abizobido ha ni medeke and edeka ahụ kpo ihe will be the different. Ni onye na eme ọzọ is different from another person. Ya can dey kpo gene. And gene ahụ ya kpo the genetic makeup of an individual. And ya will determine a lot of things that will happen to the person. And now, what the simple definition here na kowa oni ya hu okpoho ya hu okehe en wo die to omondi chukwu ke wa akpo wesiwe AA ndị ahụ awụ ntọgbu don't forget that these things in here can determine and you determine as a person. Or we handle men in the netting and determine in the first place. So one more here is here so possible. Who know how AA? Or who know how AX? Nketo know how SS. Class eton or the commonest one that we want us to talk about tonight. Ishe one a boy a bidon for the sake of time. Now in here, onye wu AA. Ejada anụrụ onye wu AA. Onwe no gan we dis aka mu onye nwo this emwe neku. Ya nke buzo. Now ebe na-enwe he dey moon.
Ki wa fa dey emu onu ebo.
Ihe akpa sickle cell disease SCD.
Okay.
Nke bụ o ihe akpọ AS. AS ihe ndị bụ akpa o sickle cell anemia. Onye na-enwe onwe moon but onwe ho ihe no dey buye ihe emu. Nkudo shize. Ihe akpọ nke odebo no AS. AS ne onye onwe moon eyiwa akpọ sickle cell disease. But onwe ihe we dey buye ihe emun. Ihe wa akpọ nke ya nwa that sickle cell anemia onwe the trait but onwe the disease. Okay. Ebo na gano dị saka buye we ihe the disease. Onye nụrụ anwụ AS ojada nụrụ ndị onye ọzọ mene wo ASAS. Ya hụ a ise nwa onwe onye ndị bụ akpọ 3. Ya hụ a to summarize it ne mmụnọ ka mụ nwa ndị bụ okpane onwo 25% chance of every child onwo ikawo SS. Don't forget that the problem here is SS. Ibai check where we are going to is SS. We arrive AA bidon, I buy AS. And Jokonwa SS, that is the problem. SS genotype is the one that causes this sickle cell disease. So that's a bank we had in where onye nwo AS, ejada no onye nwo AS. Ise nwa. Ya poha enwe SCD. Onwe mu ahụ ya o SS. Don't forget ne, mbuno onye nwo AS, onu onye nwo AS. Ane ya one mwe mumu ise, we mumu ishi, we mumu eno. There is a probability ni way ne ka osaka o SS. There is every probability ni wakataka mugu nwa onwo ka wo SS imewe. Is determined by genotype.
Okay.
Having said this, now the question is, what is the fate of onye no inwo SS, sickle cell disease patient? Number one. Number two, endo onye no man no nugwo onwe onugwo di or SS or man not anu di onugwo di SS now anugwo wan kuwe me ya nke bụ nke atọ ndị na-enugwu nwa di ASAS amugwo we nwa or weke mu nwa ụzọ atọ nke chọ na ekara to be able to understand these things properly.
Okay.
Now nke buzo bido from onye na-ewo AS na AS anụrụ we di amariwe nke ibuzo science has improved a lot. Ogam boso ki hate won no we say a good example hate won HIV we say no, you can have HIV and live as long as you want to live. A good example. That also applies to sickle cell. A lot of ichiche ndebo ewepu ana ichiche we dey here ka n'ihi nke ibuzo ka ihe ndo agwo nke ibuzo onye wo AS o mari ndebo si ihe amari na agbu e o mari ojada anụrụ onye wo AS kuweme weke mu nwa wa nke ibuzo nchanu bido ebe weke na mu nwa. I know a lot of questions will come, but let's try and pick the ones you can pick now as we are going. Nke ibuzo weke mu nwa. Now ihe ichichapụ ha gwo ebe nu weke na no mu nwa nke ibuzo ihe ndị bụ agwa wa ihe akpọ prenatal counseling. We call it genetic counseling. That is the most important thing now for AS and AS in the no go nwe we ko nwe he we me we ke mo nwe bu but amanya we ne no da no or ihe an okpono ka ha they were dating for almost 10 years. Towards no we bu na no nwe amanya we ne this thing is AS. Of course it will be a taboo. It's so okpohi kondo for 10 years ni anu kan. Those are the considerations in the bone nepwa. But also, okay, there is a better way to handle these things. What is the number one way? That prenatal counseling stroke diagnosis. The summary of it is before kicken if not 4 weeks. Past TVS. Orugo Nigeria and can de bosses of Bini like an Nigeria now. Bini even Wapa CVS test, chorionic villus sampling. Yes.
CVS test. Okay.
Chorionic villus sampling test. That's 2 minutes.
Is it CVS or CBS?
CVS.
V for Victor.
Okay.
Yes, V for Victor.
CVS.
Yes.
Okay.
Wapa CVS, genetic testing to be in short.
Okay.
The function of that test is option. It's not expensive, not that expensive. The last time I think about 100,000 or so within in Benin here. Okay. That's 610,000 Asaba here they've started. In Benin, Asaba, Lagos or Drebene. What they do is that when I was trying to give a brief introduction, is that once the woman is pregnant, there is 25% chances that F1 may turn to SS. So, is that chances that test checking one? Result don't forget the test when the pregnancy is about 4 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
If who they live in, so it's something that is done very, very early. So that's why it only no missing period is the next thing. Is what almost everybody is doing now. That's number one test. So at the end of the test they are going in one ibu on one of the genotype, on one AS, on one SS, on one AA, and one no SS. Where the option, yeah, that's the WHO standard of treatment now. Instead, because the truth about it is that sickle cell is a big battle.
Yeah.
Okara is a very big battle. We may not be able to quantify the level of stress. Okadanjo, the room domanegiwe, Salegiwe, anyway. So, anyway, the option here the whip we mahon. But up no AA or AS. Everybody is home and dry. You go home and celebrate. Yeah, number one. So that's for the couple AS. Now the second group of them, what of Njahomego? That's where we are going now. Amuwa and Oku Amanewe. How they be done. Amuwa SS. What do we do?
Okay.
Now, like I told you, science has improved a lot. I had one of my lecturers, Okoh, as at the time on Akujen, or his 70 years birthday, or SS. 70th birthday, SS. So tell you that science improve and not other. The challenge with it is that you see that the person will be very home and dry. Crisis will get to that place. Now, like a sickle cell patient, one of the problems is that there's what is called crisis. Crisis means that almost 4 or 5 or what vaso-occlusive or what bone crisis. Every time they're complaining of bone pain or what acute chest syndrome. Every time yeah, they are the common problems they have. Now, but the thing is that they have a lot of them. Remember that this sickle cell that The blood on na kepi ya na waga pipe, mini na aga pipe.
Okay.
Pipe one working. So mini one can force so the pressure forcible. That's what causes the sickle. The normal rate, the shape of edeke, the normal shape of edeke neke, they were by concave. So the blood aga by concave upon her sickle. Yeah, what was sickle? Oh, saka so since none have force aga, it is the forcing. Yeah, causing the pain. When they were crisis, and this crisis can be avoided. That is the good news about it. If what are those things that should be avoided?
Okay, things to be.
Like a good example. Onye woman or sickle cell, ya no yare. Oyi is exposure to cold is human a crisis. We're still not there. Another second one is dehydration. When continuous dehydration could predispose them to crisis. So anytime about make sure ibu bottle water, ibu mini bottle every time they are well hydrated.
Okay.
Naka nkozo in Nigeria when malaria they have a very big problem with malaria. They don't when cannot be mosquito.
Okay.
Yes, that is the problem. So they have little. Wow. So they don't have enough immunity to fight that. They are reserving their energy to do other things in their body because when they've already had problem already. So they don't have enough energy to go and be fighting outsiders. Okay, no. Folic acid supplementation. We can. This folic acid are almost every time. Because the amino acid, the protein, distributed to 100 where it is well needed. Vaccine women
okay.
Nke buzo o hepatitis iwuro we must gba.
Yes, ehwanu.
Nke ọzọ akpọzi pneumococcal vaccine.
Nke Emmanuel manu ihe hepatitis vaccine.
Okay.
Let me doctor ni jezi dara mini na we have desire.
Okay.
No, Ellen ihe ndị ọrịa akọwa ihe nka imehụ akọwa ma ọnụ agbenye. That's all. Hepatitis emu imegi enyi enye akpọ liver.
Okay.
Anyị ogikwe one ịka agba ọgwụ to prevent it because onye inwele na-edeke liver enwe nsogbu ya na ọkwa n'ibi. So ya ọkwara mma
ịbịara mma.
So ihe ọrịa akọwa na-ebe na one ihe ndị ka eme prevent the crisis happen na because onye mụrụ akwa already osaka in fact no or mmanụ prevent itself to even wait for the crisis to happen.
Yes, that is the principle.
The main thing on just ignore no meme who want to ihu ejida nani free because if you nani free mosquito better nani fresh blood.
No.
Malaria baha no kama ye omani ke nwo generator in condition ye na magane because no in that one because ogi one crisis every condition nego generator can ago. I'm telling you. So or that no corner in or come man to prevent many things from happening.
Okay.
You prevent it, you prevent the best you can. We have to protect only sickle cell and homa. you have to protect and prevent them very well. But emu deliver ya oku ne e ka agba injection to prevent emu which is hepatitis.
I'm
Yes.
hepatitis Maggie. Okay. So you make care for Mazaya. So now back to you, Dr. Henry.
Okay, thank you.
I'm learning a lot from you, from both of you now. Maggie, hepatitis B, because Ogangi by school, were simply for me to go for placement, Ninkagba, this injection for hepatitis B. So I was like, ni has no mere placement, Yaki Kagbamaze hepatitis B. But because the obligation era for me to buy, I just had to take it. Right? Yeah. So now more of it. So I'm really happy and grateful to God and grateful to you, both of you. Want to give that call saying in here. So on make it. So continue.
Okay, thank you very much. Just to buttress a little point about this hepatitis B again. Everybody, let this also serve as a health education to any Indian or woman in especially any Indiogi. Hepatitis in Yaka, HIV injo. Or HIV injo, no okay, on HIV. And this hepatitis is almost free in Nigeria. Izuka no yejeda agba ifishin ya bank ikpazu ogu ya agba. I've taken my own, I've completed my own. It's also important. Let them go and take the vaccine. That's by the way. So these sickle cell people, they have together. It's called steady state. Steady state. Steady state simply means that where crisis, these are things to do during steady state. Avoid cold water, avoid cold environment, dehydration, folic acid, all those ones. They are here for steady state maintenance. And who catch for those of them, at least every 3 months, we just make general checkup. A good example, like I knew in Delta State, it is free. It's free of charge. You don't pay anything as a specialist hospital when we're big complex. One for sickle cell center is managed by Delta State government, free of charge. They take care of them. Anything they need, they give them. So regular follow-up is the key to this sickle cell patient. Okay. I'm almost through. At the end of it, we can now start interacting, and then more will come up.
Because it all truncated it cannot be the but I'm not the two. Then remember go joy
okay. So
such no judge no real day to
dodo.
Okay, so that's where we are. So there are a lot of health improvement. And as a death sentence for those of them, is not their fault. That's why government were Buresia and Okoh. So they deserve every care at every point in time, and that care are not available to them. And the only thing we should be able to take back the message that it is not Obanje. What we need now is proper information and knowledge, and the care is just a step away from us. We can do everything. And to summarize, a lot has improved, like I said earlier on. Like if we even talk about this thing is no longer an issue to them because A good example now, the permanent cure which they are working to now is stem cell transplant. That's it. And then yogi. That's where the white we call it stem cell transplantation.
Transplant, okay.
STT. Yes, that's it. We are going to man. Ewepụ awa omiri mokpokpo ebuche wo mi ọzọ. Ohun kan do channel under hekeru and ebenre. But the one we are doing now is prevention and proper conservative management. And with this management, I've had a lot of them women for the last one was crisis for almost like 6-7 years. They don't know what it means. No anymore crisis. And this crisis is why we try to avoid it, because once the crisis is done, most of them are addictive to this organ. And by the time women are organ, this organ cause man another problem. The thing only from one stage start progressing to another stage. So is timely. This lecture is timely for everyone, for us to go back as a sort of health education around us, to tell them the right information and the right thing to do. So I will leave it at this stage. If as questions come, we'll be able to go in detail to some of the questions we have to look at. On America.
Alone. Before you continue, when I am Godwin, hello.
Godwin Median here, patient here, hungry, they are late.
All right. Michael, we
and sister patient, may you leave the woman alone now.
Hello, easy everywhere.
Okay,
so moving on, time motanari can very, very precious Sunday boku. So onya mo ajojo hoke boku.
Ajojo kan ka ajojo don challenge when ajojo.
Okay, cheri one double high. Okay. Cheri double high one.
Double one another jo.
Oh yeah.
When I cook our doctor, alo, Chukuya Gozi. That hepatitis B, Kokono Pao,
hepatitis B.
Yeah. I'm not one of the Kawak, Money. Hepatitis B. And we make down because an ammonia boy bottom mono, ekpelen.
Oh,
so
Moku was sister say Balaria mono. And that hepatitis B. Also, anything you only must take that injection. I can turn him money because it's in onya ni agbagwa and most of agbamala so chone money come where the emu almost a bad injection. Is it compulsory?
Yes, it is compulsory. Now any na agba na emu ni nwo di emu ihe na agba na ni ma prevent emu. Now when they want hepatitis, the commonest place is from sweat.
Okay.
This virus stays in the sweat for 72 hours or their life on the body. So it's very common, it's very cheap, or a very especially mundu, or a very easy to get. In fact, just last week I had two of my people that just want test. Some churches, they started including it as a compulsory test.
Okay.
When they came back, they discovered that this girl hepatitis B positive. Oh money, the thing has never disturbed her, and money, and that's how a lot of persons are walking around with it. So, but once they know now, like the point is that everybody is supposed to like get immunized. It's compulsory. It's part of Nigeria immunization scheme. Immunization simply means you are trying to protect yourself against it.
Okay.
And if you can walk to any general hospital, for those of us in Nigeria, any general hospital, anywhere, any health center, is almost free. I didn't pay money to do my own. It's almost free, and they are doing the campaign almost like in town now. It's almost like a in fact, anybody here monwa, ya better ahonya ho monwa, ya kwa na we kwekwa ni panwa ho.
Okay.
Because Orimo Banje is something that everybody should have taken by now. So he's almost everywhere. Orimo Banje, ebubu ndị bu ebubu oge number wa mohia, ebu yewe wa ma, razor oge number wa hia pa gyoko, ediwe razor we treat mmadụ eto. Those are the commonest way. So that's why it's important we take the message home for everybody to get immunized.
Transmission
Your children,
of infection.
yes.
Transmission of
Is it from blood test somebody will discover that they have it?
Yes, from blood test. Very simple test. The test for 300 naira self, and Nigeria is very cheap.
You know, because you mentioning blood test every 1 year every time. So from blood test you will discover, because I just
anytime you want to meet the doctor, of course I know they must have done. I know that they must have done it anyway.
Yes, it's true. Vaccine
and you want in Nigeria, patient A&E emergency.
Yes.
Patient you must know HIV, you must know hepatitis.
Yes.
Those things you only must around.
Yes, it's sure. Thank you.
Onwe ihe ntechone nkuye ihe
Ali etete ma ikekuye.
Hepatitis is a virus infection like a HIV, right? But here Dr. Onyemarige Kupu one sickle cell, because of sometimes made their immune system, their defense system very weak. That's can withstand any kind of infection.
Always okay.
So you just saying maybe hepatitis B vaccine, prevention is better than cure. So that by the time the infection can bear, which no matter of bear can withstand, we are ready for it.
Yes.
And one of the things take sickle cell patients, and the thing on what can withstand there. So you have to make you discover one was sickle cell, like you go test the that test we remember a common one. One of the vaccines we have before people are there. Any kind of infection, no some preventive vaccines work, but hepatitis B vaccine is once in a lifetime. That 3 times, you are protected for the rest of your life. So that women not be unknown to you at any point, which many wiki found now. But the point in many virus infections are there with fever. And fever destroy red blood cell very well. So imagine how many your hemoglobin count 14 naturally, fever there. Or destroy the liver now, you can be functioning right. But the problem how many the sickle cell and now 8, your hemoglobin count. Or be a whole destroyer to 4. In fact, you can have below 4, you cannot breathe normally again. You cannot even function, you cannot hear. You need the oxygen. Most of our hospitals say oxygen. So one of the injections to prevent that kind of disease coming, we have hepatitis B, and it'll take you like 6 months to complete it. You have to make an effort to complete it, because there is no the sickle cell patients cannot withstand it. And you protect you for the rest of the person's life. So all your
Okay. So,
Okay.
on a make it, on a zack of my spawning away can or easy. So,
Honestly,
the doctor, me
doctor.
that him hale doctor bin. Doctor Sivanos. Mr. Sivanos, you see my jojo change double high. Okay. Cherry name poking you no. Oh yeah.
Okay, doctor, you make Ocean region Kido Kwese or timely or very timely.
Yeah.
Onye iwu ogige akọ na akụkọ eyeghị nkụzi osinini ndị nwụ sickle cell no we go through the problem we go through no mention etodo do yare kazi fast ma kudoje tahụ ihe tahụ iku
Okay.
inorasi ihe to ikuda
It's okay. Nse mkpụrụ wenwe mu onwe ya akpọ crisis. Nke bụ ihe akpọ nke bụ ndị bụ akpọ vaso occlusive crisis. Now, yes, I will come down there. Vaso occlusive crisis. Okay, I have a lecture point. Okay, send that to my organ from Isaiah. He will look for a means to paste it. I actually prepared a slide for this.
Okay.
Yeah, send that to the presenter now. She can be putting it on the screen.
Okay, I will send it as we're talking now, so that you
send it on WhatsApp. I can paste it on the screen.
It's okay. So that I won't keep it up. The second one here acute chest syndrome.
Okay. Acute chest syndrome. Acute.
Yes. OB afu from one way no B afu
okay.
What wa dry cough. Cause of what here wasn't cause of bone pain crisis. All their joints, all the commonest one. They will be having pain, all their joints. Yes, they are not taking enough water. Okay. Hemolytic crisis. Now, because all these things when they're in succession, eventually they will lead to the blood. They will be breaking down so fast. Even when like a paper white, they will be very white, no blood in their body. The only thing we do once they form is immediately they transfuse them. So those are the 4 common problems they have. Number 1, vaso-occlusive crisis. Number 2, bone pain crisis. Number 3, acute chest syndrome and hyperhemolytic crisis. That's the 4 commonest problem we want. So that's it's like a good example now. Let's take it. Let me give you an example. One patient bone pain crisis.
Okay.
When you were admission and admit you must be able to bring them out of the crisis, and bringing them out will entail a lot of things. 1, you give them liberal intake of water, fluid, a certain way of line. Okay. There's pain, we give them a lot of pain, and we call them analgesics. It ranges from the lowest paracetamol to the highest tramadol.
Okay.
The problem why we don't want them to get to the crisis, the another common problem we encounter with them is that most of them are addicted to this drug because it is craving, it comes with crave. So that's why in the first place, we don't want us to get to the crisis. But once we get to the crisis, we have to be conservative. From a lot of them, we have Okoh, tramadol, pentazocine. They have a lot of, depending on the severity of the pain. Depending determining what you give them. But that one is for the hospital people. But the point I'm trying to raise is that there is no one drug that is for all of them.
Okay. You make mention of organ tramadol. So lately, I normally tramadol for just like young boys and all that.
Yeah, that is the problem because it's addictive. It has this addictive nature. That's the problem. wara was all to but that's not the dose. The dose wara or high dose. When you use organ and when you use they are different things entirely.
Yeah, I tell you where we're not chama, we're not.
It's real.
We're not
There are a lot of them.
we're not just Ramahora. Not knowing here with the aim we're giving them just know where they go.
Yes, exactly.
So when I Silvanus, your question, Yari, were cleared with it?
Yes, I'll tell them here. No, ni chifu pokite no kuba ino gum dia ho beta no lem Dr. Oyamari kuno.
Itelero abiracho no. Go straight to the point.
The thing here Kazakaku Okoh Gondiaho, like a pentazocine. No a patient addicted to pentazocine, the sickle cell patient. And that was 2002 in Makodi. So, or got through any means to get it. Like, the problem in Nigeria, no matter how Western or any regulatory condition. Some people can easily rain also. Yeah, the problem. Because I'm on most times, I'm on a sickle cell, but what a guy accure his pain. So one crisis agents or love when you will get up just already concerned about the pain. So in similar way,
and that's they are talking about the bone problem, osteomyelitis. That's the commonest problem.
Yeah. So the problem normally with sickle cell patients, no more pain. You have to let them know taking care of the pain is not the only problem. That is why they have to go to the hospital, because the pain is just a symptom of something that is going wrong. Yeah, or can many now blood supply to some of the organs they cut off. Yeah, the blood vessel is blocked, which is a vaso occlusion. Or the why woman or blocked, you might even lose that organ. That tissue might die eventually because the blood supply to it has been blocked.
Okay.
So it is better to go to the hospital sometimes. Maybe need dehydration, lead to it, rehydrate away. And you just to treat the pain. Because some of them can just a budget pharmacy or tramadol. Then feel the pain. The pain will feel the pain. But the fact that feel the pain does not mean that the cause of the pain has been managed. So you have the need or money any visit the hospital or any more crisis. So that is why it is very necessary. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Emeka. Okay, I think Wheezy we share Kelu before. Patient, there you go. Wheezy we share Kelu. Ihe leka enwefe jụ ajụjụ today. So n'mkpọpụ ya ọnụ. Megi mma. Onye mkpọkị ọnụ asa ka kwebe. All right. So Wheezy, question.
Yeah, about precisely, let's say 4 questions, but all I can say is one of the questions, at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, because some people messing instead of them working old some of them is pharmacy. But then the pharmacy in Nigeria no. Some people they just open the pharmacy. Let's see where want the experience. But one do messing we most of the wrong medication. So that one goes in that way. So that's the reason why very important, like vital. For checkup, because that is their own field. On messing but according to this sickle cell, it's they need to be able to avoid messing but when you sickle cell, what about maybe where you would and avoid that kind of a thing. They find themselves in that situation. That's number one. Then number two is
okay, Cherry go. How do you learn number one, number two? Otherwise, you
just
miss
the
the
last,
last.
just only that one.
Let him just finish. I will handle all of them the same time.
Oh,
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The other one you said they need to keep away from dry dating. You know, like a dry addiction. Obviously, like for example, some roommates will take a lot of energy, like obanje su your home and obanje le suni yatano. So obviously, you can need the iramire. You can recover. You know, like regain your strength. So, but in this kind of a situation, don't messing when we sickle cell, yeah. Is there any particular job they can be able to do, or rather they can do any kind of job? So, then the last one is the vaccine. Like when I want an example, Nigeria, ndị mundu, for example, ndị hanechari or manu wanani the vaccine equipment, and how many times Ngbole nari the vaccine so that okay protect were in that kind of a disease, so that disease is their immune or kasaka fighter, because like this coronavirus, how many sickness like asthma or you know, the immune system also can fighter, you know, because the virus are very, very strong. If fight the immune also can fight the virus. So that's the reason why most of them will chance. So those are the questions in challenge. Maybe along the line, obviously, maybe some other ones can pan, but you can say those other ones. That's
Okay.
All
All right. Thank you very much. America.
Yeah.
I will start from the last one. Like the vaccine, the vaccine, like I rightly said, is just 3 for the hepatitis vaccine is just 3. First contact after 4 weeks and then 6 months. And then it's for everybody. The impact is more for us because almost all the children that are giving birth now, all of them, when it's not even part. Government, you won't take that child home until they start that vaccine. So the information is more to our age. And though a lot of us were giving birth in the village, yeah, so those people were the candidates for this vaccination. That's for that one, and it's almost accessible and cheap to everybody. The second one is what kind of job can these people do because of dehydration and all that. Now, like I told you, for a sickle cell patient, is if he or she is avoiding all these things we've just listed out, it's like every other normal human being like you and I. I have a colleague that is a doctor, but he's a sickle cell patient. Last week, I had a delivery. I had a surgery of a sickle cell woman. So they are human beings like you and I. They can do anything, but just that they must take this precaution. They can do any career they want to do in their life. Anything they can do it. Any job they can do. If they are doing many it also implies that they will be taking more water. The one we don't want to hear is that they are dehydrated. They look so dehydrated. You lick their mouth is dried. Their eye everywhere looks sunken. That is the one we don't want. The most important thing that they must at all costs make sure that they are well hydrated. What we write in hospitals, liberal intake of fluid. Anything fluid must be their friend. That's for that one. And then the last question you talked about, I said code for those of them in abroad and because of the setting of the environment. The good news about it is that these things, there is always alternative. It's not 100% rule thing. Now, for somebody that is in abroad, this one may not be his problem. He or she his problem because one, they may be able to the environment that this child was giving birth to. There is what is called homeostasis. There is how the body regulates the body. What the body will define as heat to somebody in US and somebody in Nigeria is at different temperature rate. That is what the Englishman called homeostasis. So for them over there, they know what is cold level for them. For them, there must be either be minus tending towards minus may be the trigger. So you see most of them, they're always wearing their cardigan, always heater is always around them. They're always encouraged to stay in around heater. That's what we tell them. This thing is not Nigerian based, it's international best practice. So depending on the environment, you know what is good for you, what is best. For them over there, they're always around heat, and then they're always putting on their cardigan. That is how it applies to them. Aloha.
Okay, so okay, Cherigo, Dr. Famazaya. So yeah, okay, sometimes there are some people in Nigeria where you hold sweater because sometimes my wonder, want some people you may wear a cardigan or sweater. Heat they were still wear dressing like that. So can we link that to something like will I try and wear cover themselves from cold?
Yes, exactly.
But sorry to say, in Iku Sister Rosalind, yeah, Ellen Yalichani want that disease, like a sweater. Yeah, man, in Nigeria, there are some things we just do it upward. But one day, I'm saying, Ellen, yeah, but like a hat, a jacket, you know, they just do it like it's a
feel like we're abroad.
It's a fashion, but it's not that they have disease. So that's why I'm trying to correct you from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're feeling like they are abroad and all that, and Yopi kind of.
Americana.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So we hear Famazaya Chonoku.
Okay. I want to point it out now. Like I hear Dr. Henry Cook. Alebo Oyatwani so much. Like he rightly said, when I want to been not a heater per se, but a thermostat that tells me the temperature of this place. That is how the house is built. And the way it is built is that the heating system living area, as rightly said, I have a heater to turn on instantly to provide me heat, right? So the temperature of this place is regulated, and that is how the temperature will be regulated. And that is how the temperature will be regulated. In fact, it's a standard for the TTNEB. How many meeting in this code?
Okay.
One was standard because we can better check how many window, how many window, right? Now, I found out in Nigeria in February, many people will use sliding doors and windows, right?
Yeah.
But when they install sliding doors and windows, I found that I told my brother, son, these sliding doors and windows, no, we only miss. Only seal are under sliding door and window that make it airproof, airtight. So many in Nigeria, you can still have it, and in such a way that make walking window you feel that back or how many need you feel you can slide it net behind.
Okay. Earlier insulation.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe cement.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right, no problem.
How many in Nigeria you making sure that all EB, how many want those sliding doors and windows, you making sure, man. How many feel if the windows are locked. Yeah, and on a very, very good note, Nkekuhian very clearly, although anyone there in Nigeria, most people are most people are sometimes to keep a house maybe airtight and conducive, sometimes in a room, you may not even maybe spend more than 150,000 naira. And who know even the getting iPhone and the iPhone. So come money they use Nokia Touch and your room is conducive. Then they use iPhone 12 Pro Max and your room are conducive.
Okay.
So kaima ni your room reconducive because in the Guanyo woku sane a daily pop window need to receive fresh air, bound mosquito to receive fresh blood. Then you want malaria, you want typhoid, yeah, bonku. And not only that, you just destabilize everything. iPhone 12 in almost 600,000. Hotel go very, very consumptive. You can knock out touchlight. So here our homes in Nigeria and want the opportunity to make it airtight, conducive, and very appropriate to heat and cold, like a woman sickle cell patients. But most of us, our lifestyle are men, you may because only all the national bigger his neighbor. His neighbor on moto, opposite my moto, not even the care and of his family, no. And his neighbor on generator, wonder acquire better pass my neighbor.
I
Or just
better
one is a
pass my
bigger one.
neighbor.
Or just one is a bigger one. So I can focus more on regulating the temperatures of our house. Like Ogangabia, Nigeria, Dr. Henry was with me. He saw the place I stayed, and I told my brother, you can build a conducive environment for yourself. It's very, very possible. Because a buying lot, you about Alebo.
Okay.
No. The house was even built, some of the houses were built maybe a long time ago, but you can change it. How many kebuche maybe sliding doors and window. One day install no homa. You butcher net in it so that how many chokuferi ya slide ya uferi abahama. But let it be just airtight. Let us say the obahiwe. Mosquito be obaha, everything will be obaha. So those are some of the things that you can do in a very conducive way. Why to make the place quite conducive. And how many heat you make a coil too? It can more often, you actually and all that. And they are meaning it too. Instead, they are cook, arozu, arabia, and increase the ramini or very, very necessary. Because some people can go in a little big man, but ramini is very, very, it's cheaper than arabia and cook. Yeah, the truth.
It's cheaper and it's more beneficial
Yes,
to your body.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we share Kelu.
Just
Etela, feel free to ask. I want to king her book and can just see the one not done. Our learning. Just say no. So in your little enjoy your job. A man more confident now. So, Jenny double hiding and doing ya.
And as no kajo, ndi our doctor cool. So no rumor some things. No, because one like that money you can take vaccine all those injection. So many come and yahushi outani. Those sickness I don't know them. But no nyani you both been journey. You know that accusation are very, very important. Because in the Nigeria, I take different vaccine more than no each. To assure you that who not prefer typhoid fever because one not prefer that all those
hepatitis B. Almost anytime we travel, when we take by
yes, or because you think is share one or see heat. Because I can contact with heat.
Yes.
Or banjing.
I think also with saliva, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Of course. Anything fluid can transport. Anything fluid.
Keto kuno kwa wanya ha that is obi mesichani na the travel to Nigeria. Can you because him ebe na eri ndi ekweni wa ni njem without taking many all those injections, especially that is a hepatitis B and the typhoid. So can you take the injection, take the vaccine? Can they take all this vaccine in Japan? All those kind of stuff. But Maybe I'm going to come and then go bring you channel. Okay, this is the reason why we are taking all those vaccines.
Yes.
All those doctors not saying any take him. Umu may take your but name where man want the money in from childhood I get where different vaccine.
Vaccine, yeah.
Yes, to protect them and everything. But money we see money take care when on. So when I be as we been this man accuse all those things could change here. No wonder. He take almost different vaccine before I go to Nigeria, more than how many. So when on your anybody accuse you or I tell you, because who change all those vaccines I take is some in that travel. No wonder. Who know Kasaka with heat with everything. No wonder that is this boy be with them. Now man name you jacket because and your child one man keep one man you bring. Your future may sit and say no wonder you make one on you because I'm and mama and myself. Yeah, Tani. So you try car. Anybody accuse you or make and or pani we're trying open area and more opportunity to protect yourself and take some vaccine for your head or when on your go you try because most of you that accuse you I'm on them some things.
Hello. So before another person add your question on board. Osi, please, can someone with sickle cell drink alcohol?
That was what I wanted to attempt to answer before I didn't know I was trying to disconnect. Okay, the good news about it is that, like I said, like I said, is that this problem first is that alcohol is a yes and no thing. Personally, as a doctor, I will not advise for a sickle cell patient. You already have a load of work on you, so why give the liver another problem? That's what we always tell you. It's not as if it's forbidden, but why give your liver another extra work to do when there is already enough work on ground? So that's why we always advise stay as much as you can. Stay away from alcohol. Stay away from alcohol. It's not as if it's contraindicated. Get the point. But we tell you in Nigeria, the liver is only one. The liver is one organ in the body that does not forgive. How about it? The organs in the body that doesn't forgive. The liver, the kidney, and the brain. These three organs, any insult on them must be paid for.
Hey.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Any sin committed against these three organs must be paid for. So, in as much as possible, we try to run away from abusing this organ. And a good way to abuse the liver is the alcohol. And remember that all this problem of sickle cell, all of them are running back to the liver. It's the liver that will produce the policemen that will work. So why give the liver extra work? So the best advice in summary is to avoid alcohol.
Cherigu just don't do we had to when one funny question. Orime ime anunama wakpo puff. What's in what's in emani hot temper or no no cause problem. Is it liver? It caused that problem or his kidney? That puff.
Is the kidney, that's lungs. Maybe from my organ will put more light on it. Puff is lungs in English, if I can remember. But the problem of lungs.
Yeah.
So it's lungs. Yes.
Okay, Jerine.
I can Jojo.
Yeah, well, it can be an event. You must do the adjunct. But when you see Azaya Buchono, about
No, also not clarifying about the liver in the Kwakpa where Bunama Elea Wako.
Yeah, Yamani Nama and as Nama if you Imani Buanama. O mani yamani who are poly by men nama. One who they me ari of ari soft yaw anyi.
That's the lump.
Yes. One.
Irika mo kose.
Yeah, according to Sonia, where hot temper, I recare or Nirika.
That's story. Olden day story. The problem is that when you eat an infected meat, it will affect you. If it's not infected, it won't cause you any harm.
The truth of it is that temper is associated with our psychiatric system. So, eating of a part of meat, it can induce a psychiatric disorder, which is temper. Because so many, maybe, possibly, our temper is affiliated sometimes with a chemical in serotonin. How many eating of that meat causes serotonin imbalance? Make a research. Except eating of that part of meat, it leads to serotonin imbalance in the body. But make a study to the point, no, marrying cause any kind of meat. It leads to imbalance in serotonin in the body. Make a Dr. Onyemarabi Yamano
if it's to cause anything, it's to cause more joy.
Not fresh meat. So after liver, if there's something, another one are in my whole nama. It's not fresh meat.
That's what I'm saying.
The lungs is the lungs of the nama, the lungs of it. The only thing lungs can possibly even give you as a human is protein. But and in protein, you avoid the red meat and white meat because of cholesterol. But the only thing about meat you lead it to increase of bad cholesterol, good cholesterol. But then mood swings. Many part of meat lead it to mood swings. It has not been studied. It might be like a meat in English,
Cheri nini yono akiko. O gala dim gerendo. Ihe le ni patience le ku. Egbu ano. Egbu ohoho. Let them not say ni okpoho ari gizzard. No okpoho ari gizzard. So anytime egbu ohoho, also na ni let them jegbo konu magbo jo kafan chime gizzard ahụ mo se cheye. Also egbu ohoho is sent gizzard ahụ. O mo na keri ne. O say ni okpohori gizzard no se ka mu nwa. So can you he must dominate that gizzard. Oh, guy, letting gizzy. Key happens in a bin. Somebody is trying to enter the studio. The studio is full. Studio is going to go to Peleni. Where I turn up a house, then it's okay. All right. So, like I was saying, I'm not saying iri the gizzard one as a ya mokonwa yasaka because need the gizzard they me something in me for so nindi can so eri gizzard so any dominate ogo gizengo ho buzo ho nne meri gizzard okay na we dey one nne mamugbo mo megozi nwenem erizi gizzard nwenem okporo okay me omu no sir. So because in this school, we're good more. They put anywhere get the gizzard, everything. They put mejame. Oh, gangi remain school, no sir. And home. You read the gizzard. Don't work where they get guy towel, swab, gwana here. No, say so Tony Kele it's also an lady marathon to look at my yeah, we have Nikele dim me. Makai this gizzard just a whole way, yeah. So the same thing, yeah, we have we go patient. Probably in the Ragwan, yeah. Actually, need too much. So I don't think you need too much fuku
Long.
ya kwa fuku no akpa fuku also.
Fuku, yeah, fuku. Yeah, that's fuku.
Ohun ẹni ọsẹ ka mẹ nwe iwe even hu akpo lulu sef olulu hu ri manu that one o mesini ọsẹ ka mẹ nwe ẹni iwe it does not trigger anything in your body.
One way man elu
Elu so jebake mari iwe jebake no lo asẹ no.
Ajojo aloha. Ajojo.
Okay, all right. Jona Iwano.
Okay. Ajojo abo kan who jeni Dr. Henry who jeni Pharm Okoh. Dr. Okitesa. The nkan jeni mdo juma to Dr. Pharm Okoh. Also is temporary associated with a psychiatric. And when Dr. Henry in here to ya kemeni imefiewe imehweni wagbare the liver, the kidney, the brain. And I am workere imezoka fenini seizure about the brain disorder. So temper arouse the seizure. Oh, Jennifer from Okoh. Temper arousal seizure because it's like a psychiatric something or because it's like a brain some stuff. So does it arouse it?
Okay. You make one. The brain in one different part. The brain just one thing because even though in one trauma me here a hit in my brain, all parts of your brain. When we have a hit in your brain, then part of your body cannot even move anymore. But when we have a hit in your brain, maybe it might even lead to blindness. When we have a hit in your brain, you have more seizure. The thing is, part of the brain, the thing that causes mood swings, the chemical in our brain is secreted that causes mood swings. Anụ ahụ nwere nyikuni were iwe wemihia. Anụ ahụ does not lead to the secretion of that chemical. That can make a study about that meat. It not lead to the secretion of that chemical. So now manam ke anụ ahụ kado cause iwe wehia or be aswing also. So that is for that. So in case seizure, that is a different thing altogether. In fact, that is a whole topic altogether. But it has to do with okay, no problem. It has to do with some receptors in the brain. We have receptors in the brain. We have GABA receptor in a way. So now don't get no watch on your law. Brain like no watch on your different points. Yeah, so on one point is security here I control here we will here make happy. So by kupu ha one anu ahụ okwu ni onye rigwa iwe women now lead to the secretion of that chemical one causing mood swings and all that. That kind of cool. So that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Okay. Then who Dr. Okoh, Dr. Henry, sorry. Doctor sir. It's in three genotypes, three types, AA, AS, SS. Then you see SS, has no disease but can give the disease. AS, yes, AS, sorry, but can give the disease. So how many AS are low? Anything like any measure where you checkmate in one way produce no recording one excess that's why I hear this disease.
Yes, thank you. That's what I explained earlier, but let me explain it again. Once they are married, luckily for them, they are married, they can checkmate it. And the checkmating is doing this test I told you. That as soon as your wife meets the period and not say no or to be the next, in fact, once you are planning to give birth, just go and keep like 200,000 in one account. It may not be up to. That's what everybody. I told you I have a colleague now that they're both they have 3 children now, and none of them is sickle cell. Why?
Okay.
Because they are prepared for it. You take her to the hospital. They will do that test immediately, right there and there. Within 3 days, I go away the genotype of that your baby.
Okay.
Only the genotype of SS. Anyway, option where the weapon. A weapon, like a miscarriage.
Okay.
That's for we call it. If you look at that my material, I was able to. It's quite a subject of an option of management. I included it towards the ending slide of it.
Okay.
So that is in practice. We call it selective miscarriage or selective abortion.
Okay.
But for every pregnancy, another misconception we don't know why. We say we and it is possible to give birth a hand. That's it exactly. Prenatal diagnosis, query, selective abortion. That's what they are doing now. You know, so it's what with the sex of the baby. They will cancel you and tell you this is what you're about to enter. Do you have the mind? If you don't have the mind, anyway option, can they remove the pregnancy for you? That's where science is now. That's where we are now.
Okay, so prevention of SCD. 1, genetic counseling.
Yes.
Then premarital counseling and screening.
Yes.
Prenatal diagnosis, selective abortion, and routine neonatal screening, early DS and FF-up.
Follow-up. Early diagnosis and follow-up.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
This sperm cell transplantation is not as the same thing as this one that a woman that is unable to conceive will pay another woman and she will pay. Okay. Okay.
No.
This one, this we call it HSCT. And from Isaiah, yes, look at the last slide, the conclusion.
The very last, okay. Conclusion.
Yes, the last statement.
Okay.
Yes, that's the instinct now. What they are doing all over everywhere, in abroad, in where things are working.
Okay. New therapy offers patients with sickle cell disease a prolonged lifespan with the improved quality of life.
Yes.
Multi-organ screening can now detect early injury and allow corrective intervention. Then advances in transfusion therapy has resulted in improved safety. Then
the last one,
hematopoietic,
that's blood.
Stem cell transplantation has become an effective therapy for severely affected patients. Okay, so this one, the hematopoietic stem. Okay, Silvanus, Remis,
I'm misconstruing.
The one you let go like artificial insemination.
IVF, artificial insemination.
Yes. So this one is
different. All contact is no.
Yes, no.
Is it concerned the one that will take sperm from the man and from the woman and form it together?
No. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The easiest explanation. You know, in many hands, you know the bone has a marrow. That is exactly what they do there. They will remove the marrow and put another that is not SS. That is this thing. That's the in thing now. With that one, that one will be able to generate. Remember that it is that stem cell that produces the blood. All this blood are from that place.
As a matter of fact, sorry to interrupt you, right? As a matter of fact, sorry to interrupt you. Before I remember there was stem cell transplant. Onwogunde was on a Beniana erythropoietin.
Audience,
because in 2018, Mankere in the training at the Children's Hospital with 1-year-old child was not by a decade. So that recombinant erythropoietin honor induced with the bone marrow not produce medicaid. Now, honor produce medicaid. In fact, within 4 hours, medicaid one time we increase the channel on So hello by medicaid and then we remove the bone marrow. But first of all, what trying to induce the bone marrow produce medicaid fast. And wow, the kind of treatment we use in this area, but Dr. Henry, one of those treatments are very, very expensive. So maybe people cannot afford it in Nigeria. Those are very expensive. So, but if we hear those options, remember bone marrow, or produce medical, or maybe I buy one time a decade, but don't actually decade. Remember bone marrow produce. How many bone marrow has never produced in Dr. Blaze it up one that day, there is a possibility. Need the patient genetically predisposed to producing sickle cells. That means we produce one of these red blood cells. Need the cell the sickle. They will be pushed to transfuse. But we can try go that. Or in another way, like Dr. Henry is explaining, they remove the bone marrow altogether and replace it with one that produces non-sickle cells. Those are advanced surgical procedures. Working in Nigeria because even some Nigerian hospitals saying what teaching stuff to talk of prolonged medical procedure.
But there is something, sir. Hello, sir. Hello. There's a footballer that won fracture on his leg. Luke Shaw, born in the Man U. So they did a surgery for him and one of which implants. Which implant? One of the implant, one of which nail in his bone marrow. How I give him where is that?
No, nail in his bone marrow. Those surgery about fracture. Anytime they put a metal in your bone, it's maybe the two bones like this, nothing between bones like this. But would they use it? They use it to bridge it, just like like this, maybe in the metal.
Remodeling.
Yeah, you put another metal, you wear that to the top, you wear that to the bottom to hold the two together.
No produce Zadeke?
No, I can't produce Zadeke. No, inside the bone marrow, here they produce Zadeke. No, they produce Zadeke. Oh no, fracture. They were trying to bridge the two fractured bones, but they have to bridge it. They have to brace it on the side. Those metal will change just to brace the bones on the side. That one has nothing to do with the bone marrow. We put that together, no close to. Like I say, when on the phone, no pagi like this. One phone also. You know that Nibuche together like this. Let's say Nibuche together like this. Sorry, Nibuche together like this. One part of the bone. Another part of the bone. Now you put it together. Those braces are used to bridge the side like this, to hold the top one to the bottom one.
Okay.
The bone marrow, the middle south side.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So before any other person ask Jose a question, one question is somebody joke here. I think the question is to Mr. Henry. Osi, thank you, sir. Again, it's someone with AS, a sickle cell patient. Also, is anemia related to sickle cell. Please explain more. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes, that was what I said earlier, that for this AS, we call them carrier. They are carrier. They don't have the disease, but they have the ability to transmit this disease. That is what we call sickle cell carrier trait. When one, but it can never manifest in their lifetime. You understand?
Okay.
They are AS. This called what they have. They are sickle cell SCA, not SCD, sickle cell anemia. They are not paid disease. They don't have the disease, but they have the tendency to give another person this disease.
Okay.
So the only okay.
If I may ask a question now,
Another thing
is
okay. Sorry.
How many the person ain't want the disease? How come Ogi want the tendency to buoy another person here?
That's what I'm saying now. That he or she inherited it. This thing is not the person's making. It's just the parents making that. The parents gave birth to AS.
Okay.
I don't know if you understand. They have AS.
No, this thing in David. David.
Be there, go and be there and we put anywhere.
Just
I have to bring you out. Okay.
And I think Dr. Henry may have this diagram. Okay,
I was telling them.
Yeah.
Okay, in this diagram, you will notice AS, right?
Yes.
Now your gene is selected 2 chromosomes. I don't know select A or S. So always select there is a possibility of Mwawakamu Eri AA, right? Eri AS. Eri the other AS. So I'm more AA. Then in the selection, this AS can as well go and meet this other AS and more SS.
Oh, okay.
In the same selection, during the genetic selection, this AS can go and meet the this AS and more AS. So the doctor get going. There is a 25% chance of him AA because so many are more fortunate 1, 2, 3, 4. One AA, AS, AS, the other one SS.
Okay.
So there is a 25% chance, but that is a 25% chance on if everything is equal. It is still possible. It is still possible during the time where AS Okoh, my eldest brother and not like that. SS.
Oh.
And they all died. So the truth of the matter is, but that was Mbo. So what I'm trying to explain on a normal day, this can happen. On a normal day, can never AS on you who. Kejede meet is AS on you. Also many A 4 times. It is possible. Yes.
Oh, so this can be likened to like when Okoh and Muma when we can all true. It's still the same selection of if the we can or you know. So
one of the different chromosomes the the Y sperm to
the S and Y chromosome.
X and Y. Then okay. It's impossible. That's the thing.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So now okay. So now was I go one take back at the sense.
Wow, I do on you shamani brain something because in the channel you are about this Okoh
I can link on your when I want to job playing a bit, training top of high man. They're quite well, I don't know. They're quite body than me.
Ya mute when
Immute zenwe kika ni man. Immute enwe yo.
Saya mute. Saya behind.
Ole. Itani join ajojo ya poki ono. Ani say give me here.
Unmute.
Oh freezy.
Okay, sorry. You want to handle it, Kuno? Dr. Henry and Isaiah, because here man can get back to because nanu here who na manimushi. Because ignorance is a disease.
Yeah.
Ihe maneni amani a orikemekema and yahogi many in the Western world where car talk. And then kind of everyone who before Abraham, and then kind of call Banji, and all these are the things of woman who never so woman. And that is from what you are saying. What would you and non enjoying? One, the sickle cell was with age that when you are getting old.
This is a very good question.
How does sickle cell patient die? All those are the question I'm answering. Another one again is how can sickle cell die?
How come? What's the third one?
A sickle cell patient die when you are getting old. When the sickle cell patient is getting old, is it getting worse? Is there any way you can prevent it? Because some people, like someone told me before, a friend of mine told me that there's age. A sickle cell patient, there's age limit. There's age limit, cannot pass a certain age, they die.
Okay.
Is that all?
And let's say 4 questions. The fourth one.
Another one is sickle cell life expectancy.
Okay, that's what we say. Age limit is same thing.
The same thing, age limit, yeah. It's all age.
Yeah, before you answer, Dr. Cherry, Dr. Henry, before Yaza, Dr. Godwin is very important. Because can we say one family not me when the lady.
Okay, sorry. If I can frame it, like what I'm trying to say, how long can a sickle cell patient live?
Yes, I get your question. I understand.
Yeah.
So now, when I was saying Oswell 25 years now, so maybe the same something like the Godwin no. So please clarify about because after 25 now the woman are no. So I was like, ain't let go no to 25 and cause of 25 not survive or after all the back not survive. But after 25, no women like 28 after all of them, you know. So clarify ignorance or disease.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I will start from that last one so that we'll from last and go up.
Okay.
From the life expectancy. Now, when we talk about life expectancy, a lot, like, let's forget about sickle cell. In Nigeria, the life expectancy, they told us that, like in Africa, Nigeria, our life expectancy is within 40 years. So that is what WHO told us.
Brother
I'm going to somewhere. I'm going to somewhere so that you understand why this issue of life expectancy. Life expectancy is a range. It does not mean that one were good. That does not mean that in Hansa can be 100 years. Is the range, how they calculate it is between the lowest to the highest, and they will take average because of impending situations around us. Now, for sickle cell, all things being equal, the normal WHO standard, they told us for Africa and Nigeria, because of poor accessibility of poor healthcare, health-seeking behavior, these two problems, they told us that between 45 to 47 years old within Africa. But I've told you that we have seen patients. Personally, I've seen my lecturer that celebrated 70th birthday. And I also have some patients who has 2 children. She's still coming for follow-up in this Asaba. That woman is around 60, 58, late 50. So the issue of life expectancy is individualized. It's about how the person is taking responsibility of his health. If the person is living fine, he doesn't have any problem, he or she will live as like every other person. That's the issue of this life expectancy. So it's not as if to get to a particular age. I'm already going to the next question. Or to the particular age, once someone on by 25. No, those ones are, we call it myths, stories, fable stories. It does not hold water anywhere. The person can die. Sickle cell, a child can die of a sickle cell. I've seen it plenty times. A child now that has severe malaria with SS, is the high chances of surviving is very low. The person may not put for adults. For someone that is a teenager and has sickle cell, had a lot of fractures and problem, infection everywhere, the person may not put through. So it depends on how the person is taking care of his health that will determine his or her life expectancy. So it's individualized. That's number one. The second one is again sickle cell and age. Now, naturally, for every human being, as you are getting old, your cells are dying.
Yeah.
Your cells are dying. You see that you are no longer you don't have enough energy to do the things you used to do. You need the member. For a human natural being. Now, compared to a sickle cell patient, the more he's getting old, the more the immune system are coming down. So the more likely they are going to have more challenges with their health. So that means at that age in abroad, they will transfer most of them to elderly home where they can access good care. But for here in Nigeria, we start advising them, all your activities should start clamping down. As far in Nigeria, as soon as you clock 40, you become a special, we call it a VIP patient. So what it means is that anytime you shorten your appointment, it becomes every month. You make sure you want to see them. Nothing disturbs them psychologically, anything problem. They become your VIP patient. Why? Because their body now needs more care than other. So the things that age affect everybody, including sickle cell. Another question said, the third one said, how do they die? How does sickle cell? They die like every other person. Commonest problem, like I told you now, it depends on their age. I give an example, like for a child, ordinary malaria can kill the child. The child will go. For an adult that is smoking and taking alcohol, he already had the depressive immune system. So ordinary cough, that is chronic cough, we call it bronchitis. Chronic cough can kill the person. For a woman also that is always dehydrated, or of course maybe only more man with sickle cell, pregnancy can kill the person.
Yes.
Because pregnancy alone is already a stress on its own. So adding pregnancy to a woman that is a sickle cell that is not going for antenatal or on a way in those village houses to collect drugs, whatever can they name it, those people will die. There's no two ways about it. For the young one, they are 1J on, is severe problem. How do they call it? Severe malnutrition. Those of ages, they will be so they will be so lean. Most of them, no, it is the sickness that is around that age. But once they are taking care of themselves, you won't know. I have a lot of them that if you see them in your life, you will never believe that they are very fat and well looking, good, well nourished. So these things boils down to how you are taking care of yourself. So they die like every other person. If they don't take care of themselves, if it's malaria that killed the normal person, you kill them. So there's nothing unique. No, they don't go like that. They go like by what causes their problem.
What are the symptoms? The common symptoms.
Yes, what are the symptoms? Yeah,
common symptoms also varies to age.
Oh, we made the slide.
Yes, we have a few of them there. Like I started from
this one is very, very important.
Very important.
Let me show you some of the things I was trying. Okay, I started clinical features.
Okay, the slide
From
number.
10 to 12 weeks, yes. You
Slide
still don't.
number.
Okay, let's go to slide 9.
Slide number 9. Okay. All right. Sure.
Now, other features of sickle cell associated with chronic state. Alright, it could be bone abnormality. Now, what do I mean? Even where most of them will have them bone bosses core. Their bones will be very prominent. Their eye, you will just see that when you see a chronic sickle cell by their frontal bossing, we call it frontal bossing. Issue it will just come out, you will know. Hypostenuria. The problem, one common problem for May, one of them is that they will have continuous priapism. The I don't know how best to explain it. In the morning, you see them, their manhood will be rising, seriously
so
rising.
It is not normal when it's happening like that.
Really? So for them, it's their own part. For them, once it happened, that priapism, once it happened, what we do is emergency surgery. If they bring it to, in fact, that thing can kill them. They will not be able to infertility for life. That priapism, once it happens over and over, reoccurrence. So that's what brings most of them in May to hospital. Emergency, they were saying to tell for 3 hours, the penis is rising. That's what is called priapism. Another one is jaundice. They will keep having jaundice.
Okay.
I made mention of acute chest syndrome. I told them the chest will be paining them. Another one. Leg ulcer. Most of them have this common problem. Leg ulcer. Even most of them they couldn't manage it. You understand? It's a recurrent wound. You have recurrent wound, and this wound will lead to a serious infection. It's these infections that kill them. You understand? So it's when this thing, if you look at it on like a class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. So it is in cascade, it's in succession. So but that's why if they're able to clamp it at class 1, they cannot progress. And this class 1 means coming to hospital, avoiding crisis. All these things you are saying are product of crisis, bone abnormality, renal failure, hypotenuria, priapism, and the rest of it. So it's their common problem. And this thing can be caused, we call them precipitants. A good example is malaria. Malaria is a good precipitant. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So once you can avoid some of these, their things, is you are good enough as you cannot get to that stage. Those commonest symptoms.
Okay. All right. So I'll just another question here quickly. So see, what about O+? So I'm not out of O+ blood group.
Very busy. It's the best blood group universally. The whole world is the best. If you are O positive, it's the best. There's nothing, no relationship between that and genotype.
Okay. So Romeo, Jennifer, Moses, I hope you are no.
Another one
were very good. When any relationship with the sickle cell.
Yeah, with genotype. It's the best blood group. In fact, okay, as a matter of fact, the best blood group is O negative, followed by O positive. These people that can give blood to anybody, they can call them emergency and they donate blood 24 hours.
Okay.
Wasn't D+, see, Abi?
Yes, you have O+, D+, A, B, and A. Those are the 4 blood groups we have.
D+ blood group.
Which one?
D+.
No, there's no
that one we call it, that one is another thing entirely. That one is plus and minus. In fact, the one that has problem with that one is minus. In fact, once any woman has that negative blood, injection work for organ. Anytime what to remember, that's the injection they give to the woman. It's O negative. Any person that has negative blood, be it O negative, B negative, A negative. That one is another discussion on its own. It's another good topic for discussion.
Maybe another day we talk about
the most important thing.
The last question, Dr. Henry, is there any way we can prevent this sickle cell disease?
Yes, prevention. I talked about prevention. The number one
said a lot about prevention.
That counseling. Counseling, the number one prevention is counseling. That if you see intending couples, I told us, I gave us the instances. One, if they are just starting, number one thing that you discourage them to go ahead because sickle cell is a big burden. It's a big burden. But if they've gone so far in the thing that that's where the second option of awareness, that test, as soon as we have to remember, let them go and check the genotype of that baby. It does not cause any problem. The pregnancy will go ahead. So those are the major prevention. The major prevention is, we call it counseling, prenatal, premarital counseling.
Okay, that is you discourage the relationship, no matter the law you can discourage if it is possible for them. But already possible for them to discourage it, to stop it. Then when the woman into the women immediately, you judge for them to check it and okay, this disease. Then
yes, they will check the baby genotype of the baby. Yes.
All right. So because very good.
I think Pharmacy Isaiah, I think he did mention, either you or him mentioned water, taking water. That's why I want to know, has water got anything to do with it when you take much water?
To prevent taking water is to prevent crisis when the person is already sickle cell patient.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There are a lot of things to do in that one. Avoid avoid malaria infection. Take a lot of water, liberal intake of fluid. Take folic acid regularly as prescribed by your doctor, and go for follow-up checkup. Those are the basic things to prevent the crisis.
Okay, those Godwin, those things you're mentioning now, they are not to prevent sickle cell. They are to prevent crisis of sickle cell.
Yes.
Yeah, so in the meaning, even if there was sickle cell, you need enough water to keep your kidney and your liver and your system functioning properly, to wash them and clean your inside your system. All right. So Dr. Pharmazaya Rewesheka.
Wepo ani okenye ko.
Fluid. Even during crisis, during crisis, we have for place sequestration, which means the red blood cell travel in the spleen of a patient. How many are a patient in more crisis? More fluid where they put in the body or flush it out that system so that the red blood cell cause travel in that place. And secondly, the truth of the matter is, the very, very truth of the matter is fluid because the volume of fluid in your body is very, very necessary. The volume of fluid is very necessary. So also water major part of it and red blood cell another part of it is still very necessary. Volume of fluid in your body, you are dehydrated, or it's below normal for you to function. So now what you meaning, because if we want a sickle cell patient, one of the first things we know a fluid, they have to maintain a certain level of fluid for people to function, or it's very, very necessary. Very, very necessary. Because dehydration is leading to even disorientation. So one good thing. So like somebody of any name good. Oh many man your name was sickle cell. Now you know because I am cook. Because when I get no when it took them later to realize we were not sickle cell patients. Didn't they born as you? I remember them whilst we were separating that time. So the man went and married another woman. Well, no, alive. The woman went and married another man. No, but because they know a medical practitioner then, whereas Baptist hospital, then I remember it was like 1975. Whilst when they were carriers, sickle cell carriers. No, no. We're making sure they sickle cell carriers. And that was it. Two of them married two different people. Godly, I'm not pronouncing them now.
Yeah. Okay.
So it happened that the two people were not. It happened that they had very live children, and all of them were sick. So that is just when you Dr. Henry Agweni, that is the advice you have one day in love. But in your the level of medical practice now, we're very close to a 4-year-old sickle cell disease patient, SS, almost in a crisis. The level of practice both in America and Nigeria now, how many are real proactive? You can live the rest of your life. And like a doctor one do only about 65 years old, the sickle cell patient, hematologist, oncologist. So you don't want crisis either. So the level of practice now, why I encourage the animal abortion or non-terminated love? The only thing we educate you on how to manage the crisis, they prepare one more throughout the time for the pregnancy. Although in Nigeria not for maybe because of the level of financial level, they might not follow through. Because Nigeria, it can actually support the family. Yeah, how many on one kind of blame game? Or maybe a political with even the procedure. Dr. Henry can say I'm maybe where advice they go where rule okay, political. Because you have to painfully follow this procedure for these things to work. You have to like honorable are involved constantly and continuously. That's the truth. For it to work.
All right. Friday we share Sickle saying the since Nelele Kenesa Karando my henene. Ya nole. Cherine Okune. Kumene. Ratona no chani hewera ko ya ngi kumen.
Doctor, you make a man, Doctor Bon, any money, still a Hoyaki. Was he in your that time to see how many tickets you put and what to under before that 2 months, but I did take the shake here in one more dino, then Osaka. Okay, but you're on that first time you are one authorizing cause of that part was it?
But yes, that's the thing. That's the challenge. Don't forget, I told you that the problem is that for every pregnancy, there is 25% chance that that baby will be sickle cell. So it's that 25% chance we want to make sure that it's not coming. So, but we know that for every time, is reoccurrence is not, but the principle is that for every pregnancy must be checked. Every pregnancy must be checked.
Okay, first of all, then, second, if you also again, Yanina Zogi Ubuza, what is the point? Yeah, the point of separate to it. Yeah,
that is why I always said. But it's better. The way the Oyibo man look at it is that it's better. It's ending that way than to give birth to a child that will cause you pain all through.
And cause the child pain as well.
Yes.
Not just you, even the child also.
The child too.
This like a swelling liver, because I want to make liver. Kill the cause and kill the stop now.
I didn't get to come again.
Only on some point more liver swelling. Liver swelling. cause and give the remedy to stop it.
That's the problem. One now is that the liver is already getting shut down. That's where it progressed to liver cirrhosis. How can liver cirrhosis is end stage? Most of them have a human way. So the problem is that there's overwhelming work on the liver. So what we always advise at that stage is for follow-up. There are some drugs they will give you, immunoglobulins. It's quite expensive, but that's why we don't want any patient to get to that stage. The liver is just only one in the body. It's not like the kidney. Like I told you, it's a very, very dangerous and jealous organ. So when forward the hemanoboy, just know that, and most times they have swollen legs and their eyes also swollen. So most times it's almost getting towards end stage. So the only thing is to get the patient to the hospital. There's a lot that can be done for that patient.
Okay.
All right. There is Ajo.
Dodo now when the request of blood group mari kigi na ga ko na yaushi ya ni ku na understand it like kwa ga ju that O plus and other ones so when the mari so we will know because most of us have blood group again.
It's okay. Thank you. In summary, the basic blood group. When I mean Hokama, I did not say in terms of function. I'm talking about in terms of receiving and accepting.
Okay. Yeah.
Everybody's blood group is good.
Good.
I want you to understand on that ground.
America, because I'm doing BP.
Everybody's blood group is good. So what I mean by is the bed. For instance, O positive is one blood group that can give to everybody. In terms of emergency, you can donate blood to everybody. Hello?
It's
called universal donor. He's the only one that is universal. He can give to anybody because he doesn't have what is called the antibody that can fight antigen. That one is medical, but the summary is that's we have a lot of me. I'm not O. I am A positive. That some people are A positive, some are AB. We have 4: A, AB, B, and O. But the positive can be negative or positive. The one that we don't, that is always a little bit challenging. When the person that is what is called. Yeah. Both the mother, the baby, both the baby and at times both the baby and the mother. If it's a second child, it can affect both the baby and the mother. If it's the first child, it can affect the mother. We call that one rhesus incompatibility. What do we mean? For instance, the mother
incompatibility.
Yes. For instance, the mother will negative, and then the father, the husband will positive, and then the baby will positive, because the baby can be positive and can be negative. It's God that decides the blood group of the baby. So if eventually God said the blood group of the baby will be positive, and then remember that the woman that is carrying the baby is negative, there will be reaction. Positive and negative meeting, there will be reaction. So what the woman deliver, if the woman, there's an injection the woman must take. That injection you are about Rogan. It's a popular injection. It's a bit expensive. Rogan. That's it. And Nigeria is about 30,000. So once I'm in antenatal, we start preparing the couple. Don't mind they want the injection. As soon as the woman is delivering, they are giving this woman this injection, and that injection will stop the reaction. It's the reaction that kills, not the reaction will not kill the baby. To cause jaundice, and jaundice will kill the baby. But for the woman, it will cause immediately. The woman will start reacting within 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours.
So yeah,
and the woman will die.
So
those are the things. So where we are worried is for women that are negative. As long as the woman is negative, we are interested to know the blood group of the husband.
Okay.
Had it been, for instance, the woman is negative, we are not worried. that means the baby eventually must be negative.
Okay.
So you see, so that's why we are always worried that once the woman is negative, the one that is any blood group you are, your importance should be, is it plus or negative? If it is negative, we are worried, what is your partner's own? That is where we now start making more sense. What is your partner blood group and all that? So if it's opposite plus and minus, now the woman is pregnant, what do we do next? The next thing is that we'll start preparing the woman. There are some injection. A good example is Rogan. I told you about Rogan. There are some tests the woman will do while she is pregnant to check what is the level of the reaction. We'll call that test comb test. So it's quite a lot. Most important thing is know your blood group and know what is peculiar about it. For every other one, all blood groups are good. That's just the most important thing.
Dr. Emerita, William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare saying, though man is born free, but everywhere we are in chains. Everything about us, the procedures are so cumbersome. Where you made the analysis. So though man is born free, everywhere we are in chains.
That time.
The mother-in-law is always a win.
Most of the
yes, we have got a lot.
Oh, so many people by
default.
Yes, more. You can make them when you are more in here. Okay, so making a brief for
Madam Roslyn, I hope you will go late time.
Last question,
Mr. Henry, but because basically topic related to the very, very astonishing because there are some things that I'm learning. So, but
you are so grandiloquent, sir.
We learned a lot, which is really helpful. But in challenge to it about free question, precisely. In challenge to it, how many the marrow bone operation? Is there any risk, like some people can lose their life? That is number one question. Then number two question is in terms of alcohol, alcohol. Is there any percentage one can, obviously we know that alcohol has a percentage.
I didn't get to come again with the alcohol question.
Yeah. You have said it, but what I'm trying to ask to know more is when you have a look, alcohol, when one some percentage is just 1%. So I don't know if that is harmful also. That I'm so young. Then the second, the third one is
the doctor this weekend.
Is there any?
No, go ahead. I'm okay. Go ahead. I'm on my own.
No, we have only 10 minutes to stay here.
The last question is there any food that is helpful to people that had a sickle cell? Is there any food? I don't know, maybe it's fruit or there are some other food that that can help the system, so that they can function very well. So those are the questions I just need to ask. I don't want to ask.
Let's start from the last one. Like I said, the food is nutrition is very important to them. Nutrition is top notch. Lady is very important. They are not the candidate of malnutrition at all. I told you anything that will give them problem is what you are trying to avoid. So that means that if they are eating, their food must be well-balanced diet. And balanced diet is expensive. If it's local, like every village, they should eat fresh things. Things that can build up their blood, their immune system. I'm not telling you there is a particular food. Eat this, no, we don't do that. What we're saying is availability of good food, nutrition in balanced diet. That is the principle of management. It's not go and be buying fried rice and chicken. No, whatever they can afford, let it be fresh and let it be something that can afford.
Sorry to say, Mr. Henry. Some food but some food is proteinous. So just here is some tips. Okay, this food it could be beans. This is helpful. Because
you know why we don't mention food. So why we don't mention the name of food? why we don't mention the name of food is that what you call what you can access, the next person over there may not be able to afford it.
Yeah, that's
So
what I'm saying.
yes, the most important thing is that you have accessibility to good food. Like you just mentioned beans. Beans is a very good food that is highly proteinous, which is very good for them. You
Okay,
also
what am I
mentioned starch, which is carbohydrate. They also
I'm
need a good,
eating if I'm
yes.
eating starch every day, I don't think it's helpful because it's like you are not balancing the diet. So
That is it. So you know what we're talking about.
One digilenego, so starch. I know what I'm saying. One digilenego, yeah, they can't
That is
afford to
what
buy
exactly.
anything protein. It's just
So
starch.
whatever that will make them to eat balanced diet is what we're saying. And then for your second question about alcohol, I told you that the principle remains as much as you can, even 0%, avoid it. Even 0%, as much it's not sorrow, but as much as you can to help your body, avoid it. Anything alcohol can do, water can do it more than. It's just that is that addiction we're talking about. If you can avoid it, it's not if you are not even the person is not a candidate for alcohol. Be 0%. That is on that one. So I think I've been able to attempt them.
The last one is bone marrow.
Okay, yes, the bone marrow issue of a thing. The bone marrow issue, like every other procedure, has its own risk attached. Even ordinarily, you are going from your room to your next room, you may be able to stumble your leg. It's also a risk, a side effect. So that means that for every procedure in medicine, there's no procedure in medicine that is 100%. They will tell you no side effect. The side effect of this bone marrow transplant is the same thing obtainable, which implies there may be, but not up to death. I'm not talking about death. There may be some immediate reaction, which the doctor will explain to you. Reaction in the sense of, for instance, now people taking COVID. In Nigeria, if you want to take COVID vaccine, you must prepare that you must have fever within the first 2 days. We will tell you. It's like every other procedure that is coming with it. So stem cell transplant has its own minor precaution side effect that they can tell you. And this thing with ordinary paracetamol, you can avoid them.
All right, thank you very much.
You done very well. Thank you very much.
Okay, Dr. Nomino was any other do Hodoni? Domine for Pharmazaya for his Okoh.
Allow Pharmazaya to rest. His boy is around who can handle everyone.
Chifu Pokitesa.
Honestly, to do with us for 2 hours plus, and I really want to appreciate by your wife, sorry.
Yeah.
To appreciate because we're so many hanging. Lose a lot high on the so I went outside.
Yeah.
What's the answer?
So I'm really grateful to her. Okay, opportunity and privilege to borrow for today. And in the Onwika language class, learn and laugh out loud, and they wish you again a very happy and blessed and fruitful married life. May this your marriage travel the best of the best in the mighty name. So we wish ever in this marriage must come and without delay in the mighty name. And also I appreciate Pharmazaya for giving us the opportunity to have you, because without Pharmazaya, we pocket one of the Pago.
When you have seen my father, you have seen me. He's my Oga. So anywhere my Oga said,
Dr. Henry is also an ordained pastor. No, I'm
oh my goodness. Okay. All right.
Make a money be at the edge. I can say one year to
this person, this one, okay.
I'm suspecting you. Next time you go na my head.
I'm a lot of India Kukwabo. Yeah.
And by Kogali, go away to Tumbo. You can let me
Wow,
finish.
no video.
I don't teacher. I don't teacher.
Farmer Zaya in charge of
maybe you bros.
Gone into ndị ka elere ka ndị rele na ekewele Farmer Zaya in charge of anywhere money ego wegiku for ogba ishelelu and the maya webuhe ezuni ndị buhe kai imbu kika na enwa otenku iri ebe so Farmer Zaya ya agwa we ya
because I need more governor of Central Bank.
All right, thank you very much. So only make so Dr. Zaya. So go on now so that we can call it a day.
All right. I greet you too.
Farmer Zaya, you make
Dr. Henry Allo.
Oru one you do here when on your beer. Yeah, okay, man, Dr. Henry G. People, Okoh, you are room on you, yeah, one your time, not for her. Oh, that is yeah, we can what I can relate, huh? And do we when I know you do, or when
but I make
all right.
Dr. Henry, cool. Dr. Henry say, oh, yeah, come and get the Fatima. I know because you come.
So, honestly speaking, from the bottom of my heart, and we're so happy with this program of today. Or very mature, very educative, very interesting, interactive, and Dr. Henry Proveni, Ojani, my own get to or ego kitchen level, never that I got more level. Or me, yes, you want the doctor, Yazaria fan. So, congratulations to you and congratulations to your wife as well. And interestingly enough, young when you were doctor, me were doctor, and young when we here.
Why you come, man? I get come on, Migo.
He said, I like it.
Pastor, no money, pastor, anointing.
Oh yeah, Pastor.
Pastor Henry.
Dr. Henry and Pastor Henry. So the professional or
it's okay. When we are ready, let me know. That one, no one else.
Kaki kaso, dodo.
Oh man, ana pa Jesu.
Yes.
So ekele mako wahentana, ekele maka ido yena katana, siriana na ihe ni na emu tan, ido yin bo echimu me ana pa Jesu. Ya kai tu ihe ihe ọrụ aka anyị ka mmụọ anyị ihe ọ na-ebiche n'aka anyị arịọdodo n'ime agha ihu ha n'afa Jesu anyị sekwere onwe n'ọzọ anyị aka eze na ya ihe ka mụ nkowe ọzọ ya ka aka na ihe mu hata na fa Jesu onye owo na ile in the no so be you don't mind ya gozo konrin na fa Jesu this language not easy
Yeah,